Hello there. My name is Bev. This is the Bev D Show. It is January 7th, 2021. Good day to everybody and the universe and the world. Got a little show thing here I'm doing, and got to thinking today, did some writing and some reflection, and I want to share it with you. It's no secret. The world is one crazy place right now, and I'm not a person that thinks that I'm coming through with some kind of news flash. I've been a part of it. I've been sucked into social media. I've written about it, fought about it, and that is fought with an F. I have had conflict and demise and resolve, and came full circle with what is going on in this world. I am a very sensitive type person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I know there's many of us like that and that are out there. And it is a day that I'd like to talk a little bit about the things that we can and cannot control. We know that there is scripture that floats that gives us great advice and asks the Lord to please help me to, see the things that I can change and help me get through the things that I can't. And that's kind of the way I recite it to myself. I also have another one. It is Philippians 4:13. And, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It is a time when we need to be able to lean on someone or something and find a way and the strength to lean on ourselves. We are alone, many of us. We are working from our homes. We are not able to socialize. Socializing gets us through. You can even be feeling kind of bad and not at your best, and go out with some friends for dinner, and it changes everything through hugs and laughter and tears. And we are in a situation where it's difficult. It's difficult to even begin to think of doing those things, because even if we can, we have a little bit of fear in the back of our head about, the virus, and will we get the virus, and what does that mean? We've seen people pass away from it. We've seen people survive it. We know it's not pretty. We know it hurts. We know it attacks, and that there's a lot of, things that you got to work through once you even recover from it. I have many friends that are recovering that are still struggling. So it's a very strange time in that we are limited. We've never been limited before. We've always had great freedom in the United States of America to pretty much do anything and everything we want. And now we're in a situation where we have limitations, and we struggle, and we're fighting through it and trying to figure out a way for this new life. And that's exactly what it is. It is brand new, it's renewed, and it's an opportunity for us to not get lost in the weeds and frustrated and lost on our way. We can actually find a way to clear the path and try and start something new. So as I was thinking about all these things today, I came up with a set of words that I want to share with you, and I'll also have it in written form so that you can reflect back on it. If you would prefer to read it, you can do that as well. And it's called One Day. One day you will look back and wonder about the things you could have done differently. One day it will hit you that the things that were important and are so insignificant, you thought they were important, but they become so insignificant that you wonder why or what you could have done that made it so grave to worry and wring your hands about. There will come a time when no matter what you have, great or small, even without, that is okay. Here's what we know. Stay with me for a moment. When you go to the grocery store and you need many things, it's the big haul. It's the one where you got to stock up. When you get home, you look inside. Is it filled with meats, veggies, and fruits? Is it filled with chips, ice cream, and lots of good old junk food? Is it a nice balance of both? We feed our bodies to fuel us with energy and to fill our bellies. If it's too much of one or the other, the makeup of the way you feel is going to be inside those grocery bags. Now imagine that. We know that in order to survive, we must eat and bring soothing water and refreshments to our soul. Consider what you feed your mind. Is it filled with enriching information? What are you listening to? Is it a silly podcast, the Bev D show? Or what whispers and shouts do you hear? Will you be ready to hear the quiet whispers? Those of music and scripture and educational materials. Are these types of topics a part of your daily routine? We never know where our points of inspiration come from, so be ready. Knowledge is power. We know this. So when we take walks and exercise our bodies, why not pay more attention to our minds and what we are feeding them? The best of us or the worst of us can be found in social media. It is here for fun, to communicate, to connect us, but it can be the worst part of our day if we let it. Here's the beauty of it all. You can control this. You do not have control of many things, but what you feed your body and mind, remember, you are in complete control. This is not news, but it is a reminder that we need you at your best. We need you to be a leader, if nothing else, than of yourselves. You are wanted and needed. Here is why. One day you will be walking along, and a simple smile that comes across your face to another person might be the smile that they needed to get through the next moment and lift them from sadness or anger. One day you might say just the right thing to someone that changes their life. One day you may look back on that moment and reflect on its goodness. One day you will find that you tried your best by feeding your body and mind the best that you could for the sake of those that love you and that need you. I say these things because it matters. It mattered to me and changed my life, not for what I had done for me, but what I had done for someone else. These are trying times for sure. The last 13 months of our lives have been riddled with negativity, fear, sadness, health, loss of loved ones. The challenges we faced were incredible. Yet if you're reading this, you made it through. Somehow. We could have never predicted this. Never. See what I mean? You couldn't control that, but you must have persevered in some way to still get up, get ready, and show up. And for that, I thank you. How you achieved this just might be the thing that helps someone else. I leave you with this. Make this the one day you look back on where you could have changed someone's life for the better. One day I will look back at these words. I will wonder, and I still do, where they came from and why I wrote them. One day I will look back and wonder who they were for, if not for me as well. Love you. Love one another. Love something. A dog, a cat, even a plant needs you. That could, in fact, be your defining purpose. You just never know. But control this. You. Ask yourself one more thing. How will the next moment help or hinder the universe, my heart, my soul, or someone else in my circle? Never forget that on your worst day, you could be the reason someone else has a better day. It matters. You matter. And I thank you for reading and listening on this one day. So I mentioned in there that I might reflect back on this and wonder where these words came from or why or what. When I write, oftentimes it is an out-of-body experience. I don't know how the words come onto the page. There's very little editing. I am not an editor. I am a writer, and there's very little of me in my process. If I start, and I thought of those two words today, one day, and as I was writing, I'm telling you, I don't know where some of those thoughts came from. They just came from, of course, me, but through my fingers. But it was as if I couldn't type fast enough. When you think about your purpose or what you're here for, I understand we all have a job. We all have to take care of our careers, our families, fill up those grocery bags. Those aren't free. I understand that. But while your job may be bogging you down and it's not really what you want to be doing for 8 or 10 hours a day, there are a couple other hours in the day or moments. It doesn't cost anything. It's only cost time to write someone, pick up the phone, get out there in the world, mask on. I guess that smile I talked about can be put on hold for a little bit because of our masks that we have to wear because of this stupid virus. But there are other ways. You know, maybe we can get back a little bit back to snail mail, and maybe you can draft up a letter or a card or something and just mail it to someone who you think you would like to get in touch with. It isn't all this needy, oh, I'm going to change somebody's day just by doing this. Keep in mind, doing a selfless act, really the reward is what you get. So maybe you help somebody out in business and you see they're struggling and they're down. Maybe it's a sales experience and they're not selling and you know it. And there might be a situation where you can just take 5 minutes out of your day and pick up the phone and just say, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids? How do you like working from home? And strike up a communication conversation beyond paper, beyond social media, and we can get this human connection coming back. So I just wanted to send out a brief message today and for you to think about the two words of one day and what that means to you. And that as you move forward through this time, we don't know. We do not know what will happen next because it's other people and things in the universe out there working, doing its job, whether it's an earthquake or a tornado or, a big fat blizzard. You can't control that. All we can control is what we do in the next moment in our time. And if we're lucky enough, and if we are granted and blessed with a future 5 minutes, take care of you, take care of someone else. I know it sounds corny. I know there's a million people out there that might be saying the same thing in a different way. But just think about that. Just think about those two words. One day, I might look back on January 7th, 2021, and what might I have done that day? Now, I've got one more favor to ask. I would like for you to start journaling. Not long, lengthy, War and Peace novels. Get yourself a calendar and write down what that might have been. Not for ego purposes, but for purpose. Because when you write it down that, hey, I called Jim today and I helped him out with a situation. He a fight with his kids. His dog's sick. I wanted to tell him I loved him. Whatever that might be, that little gesture. Because when you write it down, it takes that act of goodness and makes it tangible. And this isn't for you to be making your marks to get into heaven, or any good deeds. But it helps you with, if you did one kind act of goodness,